Hey everyone, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. So the Friday videos will now be about project life and Sundays will be about journaling. I don't know if you caught that little switch in my schedule, but that is the switch. So I'm gonna wrap up September 2023 with a couple different pages. This first one is going to the zoo as a family, and I'm using Ali Edwards' Stories by the Month products. I am trying to figure out where I want each of my photos and trying to get one of the family photos in each row because we stood in front of a bear statue, so I wanted to see if I could get all of us in a different row. I started off with this card that said September Life, quickly switched it out for the leaf one because I had several chipboard and actually, you know what, die cut pieces. Yeah, love this story and then the story are both die cut. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to use those. And I didn't realize until after I made the page that both of them, of course, said story, but whatever, I'm going to use them anyways. And I'll wind up putting one of them on a vellum piece of paper. I'm also going to use the chipboard that actually coordinates with that particular journaling card. I think it's probably from a really old scrapbooking kit, but that's okay. At least it finally found a home, right? I cannot resist stamping on the little pocket cards, so I think I'm going to do that. I wasn't sure how I was going to do a journaling card over on the right-hand side. I was kind of looking in my drawers that are on my desk. I pulled out the details. I pulled out right now cards. I really didn't like those. And I'm still fussing around with the order of the 2x2 page protector, but I'm going to figure it out because, of course, I'm going to gravitate towards my stamps. I mean, the card that I picked out and the chipboard I picked out both have really big leaves on them. And I actually have a stamp set from Mandy Ford art that I am going to use. I don't think it's available anymore, but if it is, I will link it. I think it is only available digital. I don't know, but I'll look it up. It was from Studio Calico, and I love this stamp set. It has really huge leaves that I can use to make my own pattern border. And I'm gonna take multiple colors and stamp it around the edges. So I'll use brown and red and orange, and it's gonna look fantastic. And I'll repeat this same thing on one of the 2x2 cards. That way it looks like a mini version almost. I have a big one and a mini version. And you can see also that, like I said, we were at the zoo, but I did not go theme on theme. I don't even know if I really do theme on theme. Do you remember in like the old days? The old days of scrapbooking, that's what I'm gonna go with, that we would like really go theme. So like if it was zoo, we would find zoo pattern and zoo embellishments, and we would just go hard on the theme. At least I was that way. I don't know if anyone else was. Leave a comment and let me know. But now I feel like I have grown with my scrapbooking and it does not have to be theme. I went more with the season. Basically, September leaves and kind of coordinating with the colors in my photos. And I really love how that turned out with all the different leaves that I have poking. And like I said, it matches the journaling card, but I didn't stamp a ton, so it's a little subtle. And I have that chipboard, which I love that chipboard. I can't believe I still have it. And I was just thrilled that I had the matching for both of them. And then I can go ahead and add in a few journaling stickers. I think this one said "so awesome," and what I did is just cut it apart so that way it could fit. And I could also kind of stagger it on that 2x2 card, because that's the best thing about 2x2 is not only can you get a lot of photos, but you can play around with the empty pockets and do so many different things. Like I have the one that has the stamping and the die cut. Then I have one with a chipboard and a sticker, and a third one with vellum. I mean, it's just possibilities are endless. I'm going to finish up this spread with the journaling, and of course I always use journaling lines because That's just what works for me. I just talk about visiting a really fantastic local like zoo sanctuary that we have loved going ever since the kids were really, really little. I listed out kind of the different animals that were out and about and that we saw, and also talked about the statue. So just kind of hitting the bullet point list of what we did when we were out and about. And again, it's just always so fun to have a family outing, especially as life is getting busier and busier. So that is that spread. I'm going to move on to this spread. I don't think my camera started right when I started, but I had already pulled all these pieces from I want to say the hobby kit, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I think it's the hobby kit. But I loved the really big vellum hearts that I could use. I'm going to switch them. And there's a lot of negative space up in the top right-hand corner. So that's why that vellum piece really works nicely to just add to the page. And then I have a chipboard that's going to go over the top of it. And I just had to document the story of my daughter getting into Legos. This was the first time we had taken her to a local Lego store, and we had taken our son there many, many times over his era of Legos. So it was really special to take her there and also get a photo of them kind of looking through the various pieces. And so it had to go in the family album. I took the heart that is this, the heart was a stamp as well as being a vellum, so which I was so excited about. I'm going to make a really fantastic border in all the different colors, so green and orange and blue, and it looks awesome. I love it. I'm then going to take an alphabet stamp and stamp Lego Love. And I decided to make it a little trickier on myself by stamping backwards. I think I wrote Lego Love somewhere, like on a Post-it note, like to the side of myself, so that way I knew like what letter came next. And I kind of staggered and didn't what's the word I'm looking for? Didn't intentionally, or I did intentionally. Either way, it was intentional to do it staggered. And that's what I went with. I love it. It looks amazing. And the other reason I could use up all this space with the die cut and the stamping is because, yes, I had a story, but I don't necessarily need to go super in depth with my story. If I ever document this for my daughter's album, I can go into a lot more depth and add a lot more like personal, details to this. But for the family album, I just wanted to make sure that I talked about the Lego era for my daughter had officially begun, that she was very excited to go to the Lego shop. Very awesome to see Big Brother helping her, and just very nostalgic, and we all enjoyed being there together and seeing her love of Legos start. Now, a year later, she's not so much into Legos anymore. She would rather build dragons with clay. Once I have the journaling, I'm just going to grab a few chipboard hearts to add some dimension to the page, and that's it with this page. Overall, relatively simple, but the photos were so busy that I didn't want to add a lot to them, and I felt like I didn't need to. I mean, the photos kind of just speak for themselves, and all I really wanted to do was just make a really fantastic stampy card, and I did. The last page is going to be a super, super simple end page, probably the simplest I've made in a long time. And then after that, I will share a walkthrough of September and how it looks, and how October is looking, because October is going to have a lot of pages. Okay, so normally when I do a wrap-up page for the end of the month, I like to include any photos I didn't include in my pages, or, like a family photo or something like that. But I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do my decor box photo, get a die cut of September, and call it done. That was my plan. But then I decided to punch holes on the wrong side And I don't know why, it was really bugging me. I wasn't gonna reprint it. And since the photo had a lot of black in it, to me, it felt really obvious that there was holes where there shouldn't be. Anyways, it was this whole thing that I had to fix, and I did fix it. So I was kind of proud of myself that I was able to keep track of the holes that I had punched on the wrong side and put it back together like a puzzle piece. So should have been a very fast page, but wasn't quite as fast as it could have been. But I love this photo. I just open my decor box and take a photo. I talk about it all the time probably, but it's really one of my favorites, and it's so simple. You definitely need to have those simple tricks when you're scrapbooking. Just have like a whole list of simple tricks to keep you moving along. Grabbed a chipboard that says remember, and also a label that's like orange with a heart, and I'm just gonna talk about how September was a great month and it just flew by, and now we're gonna roll into October with a lot of things to do. So again, very simple, but I love it, and I cannot remember where this September came from, but that's okay. Now September is all wrapped up. That is a wrap on September 2023, so I thought I would show you how it all came together. So I have the divider with a 9, then this right now page. I think I need to glue these together, but then we go into 4 stories using this prompt page. 2 simple stories that I wanted to have documented: back to school night and my daughter's new outfit. An end of summer wrap-up page using a bunch of different stamps. This one that you just saw, going to the local zoo. My daughter getting introduced to Lego. And again, this is something that I will probably repeat in her album if I ever get to it, but because it involved Big Brother, I just decided to include it in this album as well. Finishing up with a decor box photo. Instead of doing a collage of photos that maybe didn't get included in Project Life for the month of September, I decided to just go with this photo and die cut out this September. So that is a look at September, and then now I'm gonna start on October. So I have October all planned out on Photoshop, but it's just a matter of printing it. I started printing last night because one of my goals over the summer was to get a lot of my Project Lives all mapped out. I did 2022 and most of 2023, and then some of 2024. So you did a really good job as far as mapping things out. So I have a sheet here. I think I actually printed something from my journal, and that's why there's a hole there. I have a collage for TV and hangouts during October. I also did seasonal decor and then another kind of hangout photo. I also have all the different supplies for October. I have tons of kits from over the years, so I can just pick and choose and have a lot of fun. I mean, I even have cards here. I just have a lot of October supplies. I'm going to start off the month with a family photo and maybe this card. I haven't quite decided. And then on the back, I'm going to do our trip to a local place to celebrate fall. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of pages in October, but that's to be expected because October is always a great month. All right, I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing the September pages come together and also a sneak peek at October. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you are new to my channel. All right, have a great day. Bye.